Hi there, everyone. I'm Stephanie Haney. Welcome back to 3 News Now. Today is Thursday, April 15th, and thank you for being here for your top stories from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. We start with news of 2 different shootings in the greater Cleveland area. First, there was a man killed in an officer-involved shooting on the east side of Cleveland. The police say that the suspect pulled a gun. Cleveland Police Chief Calvin Williams said this all started at around 4 a.m. when officers in the 4th District received a call about someone who was wanted in connection with crimes and victimizing people in the community. The chief said that the suspect initially got away, but police returned to the area after receiving another call later in the morning, and they spotted the person, the chief said. He said there was a chase that ended up in a backyard, and when the officers came upon the suspect, the person turned on the officer, pulled a gun from the waistband, and in which time that police officer fired the weapon. After that, additional officers responded and administered first aid to the individual, according to the police chief. The police chief said this: "I don't know if the suspect actually fired, but the suspect did produce a weapon. That weapon was recovered right there on the ground by the suspect." Now, we have not yet learned the name of this man, but the police chief said that he had 2 violent felony warrants, including one for homicide. Here's a message from the chief. "We came because we got a call. That citizen that called us wanted to be safe and secure and walk in the streets without having this person terrorizing. Unfortunately, it ended tragically. We're definitely sorry for that, but we're also glad that none of our officers were hurt and that innocent citizen can now have a little bit of peace in their life." The chief said that all of the officers on the scene were wearing body cameras, and as soon as they get to a point in the investigation where the sheriff's department has all of that information, has a chance to review it, that will be released. Now, of course, transparency is something that's very important right now with everything that is going on with the country. I'm talking about the current trial of Derek Chauvin for the killing of George Floyd, the recent shooting of Daunte Wright, and the charging of second-degree manslaughter against former officer Kim Potter. All of that backdrop definitely coloring the situation here in Northeast Ohio, and we do expect transparency from the Cleveland police. They've said they will provide it. Now, another shooting involving the DEA happened on the east side of Cleveland as well, and officials in that case said that there was also a weapon that was brandished, but the family of the person involved who was shot says that's not the case. Now, this person is still alive, being treated. He was taken to the hospital after being shot by a DEA agent on the east side. This was Wednesday afternoon. Now, according to Special Agent in Charge Keith Martin, it was a plainclothes DEA agent, several of them, who were in a car carrying out some sort of operation near East 82nd and Decker Avenue when 2 unrelated people approached the agents, and one of them, according to the agents, brandished a weapon. Martin said that the agent felt threatened and that gunfire was exchanged, and one of the people who had approached the vehicle was shot. Now, the agent involved was not hit, and authorities still don't know if the other person fired any shots or how exactly he was brandishing the weapon. Martin did tell reporters that officers on the scene immediately administered first aid, and that person was taken to University Hospital's Cleveland Medical Center. Now, the family of the man who was shot identified him as 21-year-old Trayvon Johnson, and they say that they were just yards away as this all happened. The family says that as soon as Johnson pulled up and got out, they shot him. This is Johnson's mother, Diana, speaking. She said that he was getting out of a black car that he got dropped off in, and then he started walking towards their car, and that he didn't have anything in his hand. She saw him running on the camera, dodging at him, and said that they were shooting at him. Now, Cleveland, again, Police Chief Calvin Williams is asking that the community stay calm and level-headed, and he said that the results of the investigation will be transparent with the community and the family. This is what Williams said about this incident. He said, "This young man, we're praying for him. When guns become involved in things, there's always a possibility of things like this happening." Now, turning to Minneapolis, Minnesota, testimony has become complete in the trial of Derek Chauvin, the former Minneapolis police officer who was on trial for the murder of George Floyd. As a reminder, Chauvin is charged with second-degree and third-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter related to the May 25th killing of Floyd, where bystander video showed him kneeling on George Floyd's neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds. So the defense has now rested the case. The prosecution has rested the case. Derek Chauvin chose not to take the stand in his own defense, invoking his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination, and the jury has been dismissed. The jury will return on Monday to hear closing arguments from both the prosecution and the defense, and the judge told the jury to plan for a long but hope for a short deliberation. Of course, we will keep you updated as that moves on. Now, today, Governor Mike DeWine had his usual Thursday press conference, letting us know that the number of cases in Ohio not going in the direction that we want. He previously said if we get down to 50 cases per 100,000 residents of COVID-19, that all of the public health orders will go away. Well, we're at 200, which has been increasing over the past several weeks. So we're at 200 cases now per 100,000 Ohioans. Let's take a look now at the national and the global numbers before we get back to the rest of the Ohio numbers. These numbers come from Johns Hopkins University. Globally, the total number of cases is now at 138,581,232. The number of deaths almost at 3 million. That number 2,977,619. Here in the U.S., the total number of cases is at 31,455,995. The total number of deaths now at 564,715. With 4% of the global population, the U.S. leads in the cases and the deaths. The percentage of deaths, though, ticking down ever so slightly again, down another 1/10 of a percentage point to 22.7% of those cases, and the number of deaths remaining at 19%. Here in Ohio, in the last 24 hours, we've seen 2,164 new cases reported of COVID-19. That is down just a bit from yesterday. But again, these numbers all together have now arrived us at a point where we're at 200 cases per 100,000. So not getting closer to that threshold to lift those public health orders here in Ohio. We do not have new death data from the Ohio Department of Health today, but we do know that there have been 181 new hospitalizations reported in the last day, and there are 1,305 people being treated in the hospital. That number is up from yesterday. Both of those numbers up from yesterday. Right now, there are 356 people being treated in the ICU. That's down by 2 from yesterday, but the number of new ICU admissions in the last day is 31. That's nearly triple what we saw yesterday. Taking a look at the vaccination picture, now more than 24%, so almost 1/4 of Ohioans have completed their COVID-19 vaccinations. That's more than 2.8 million people, and close to 74,000 people hopping into that category in the last day. More than 36% of Ohioans have started their COVID-19 vaccine protocol. That's close to 4.3 million Ohioans, and more than 49,000 getting started in the last day. Now, if you are fully vaccinated, Budweiser is offering a perk for people. They have this new campaign about reuniting with your buddies, getting back together with your buddies, obviously a play on Budweiser. And you can reunite literally with a Budweiser once you get the COVID-19 vaccine. They're asking if you are over the age of 21 and you would like. They'll give you a free round of beer after you get the vaccine. You upload proof that you got the vaccine, so that's either a selfie with your vaccination sticker or a card to a beeronbud.com, and then you get the free round by them sending you a $5 virtual debit card. So a $5 sort of online cash card that you can use to purchase yourself a Budweiser beer. Today, in Major League Baseball, they are honoring Jackie Robinson because it's Jackie Robinson Day, and all players and coaches will be wearing number 42 on their uniforms. Jackie Robinson is the first black player in Major League Baseball history, and today is the anniversary of this Brooklyn Dodgers Hall of Famer making his Major League Baseball debut, breaking the sports color barrier all the way back in 1947. So that's what we'll see today as the Tribe take on the White Sox in Chicago. Everyone will be wearing the number 42. Also, at ballparks across the country, there'll be a video played that's produced by the Major League Baseball Network. It's titled Thank You, Jackie, narrated by former star Curtis Granderson, and that'll talk about Robinson's impact as a champion on and off the baseball field. Teams that aren't playing today will honor Robinson when they play on Friday by wearing that number 42 jersey. Now, everybody's watching what's going on with the Royals with Prince Philip's funeral happening on Saturday. And now we're learning that Prince William and Prince Harry will not walk side by side at Prince Philip's funeral. Instead, Peter Phillips, who is their cousin, will walk between the princes as they escort Prince Philip's coffin to St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle, which is west of London. Prince Charles, who's the heir to the throne and the father of Prince William and Prince Harry, and his sister, Princess Anne, will lead the 15-member procession that will lead Prince Philip's coffin to the chapel. Now, this is very reminiscent for both Prince Harry and Prince William. It was in 1997 in London when they walked behind their mother, Princess Diana's coffin, in a similar ceremony. Now, palace officials are not commenting on the choice of positioning. They said they don't want to get involved in the drama, but obviously people are speculating that having this buffer between them will sort of maybe prevent any awkwardness, since that bombshell interview with Oprah Winfrey that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle participated in, that we do know didn't necessarily sit the best with Buckingham Palace. We have heard reports that conversations after the fact between Harry and Prince William didn't go so great. But we do also know this: none of the senior royals will be wearing military uniforms at Prince Philip's funeral. Now, it's possible that this could be to save Prince Harry some embarrassment, because he has been stripped of his military titles, even though he did serve in the military and went to Afghanistan twice. But when he decided to step down as a senior royal, got stripped of those titles. So no one in the senior royal family group will be wearing military uniforms at the funeral. Now, this is the topic of my 3 Things to Know with Stephanie Haney podcast this Saturday, which is also when NBC will be airing Prince Philip's funeral. So you can catch that at 9:30 a.m. and also the podcast will drop that morning. So you're going to want to check that out. I'll be talking with People Magazine editor Morgan Evans, who is a royals enthusiast, royals expert. She knows all about this stuff. So we're going to be really getting into the future of the monarchy. One more thing to let you know before we go. The city of Akron is announcing its schedule for Rock the Lock, its concert series, and other summer events. Here's some of the things that will be kicking off Memorial Day weekend at Lock 3. It's starting off with a bunch of great tribute bands. Draw the Line, which is an endorsed Aerosmith tribute band, that'll be opening things up on May 28th. Dirty Deeds, which is an extreme AC/DC tribute band, that's on June 4th. June 11th, Fleetwood Mac will perform. That's a Fleetwood Mac, of course, tribute. And if you want to see the rest of what's going on this summer at Lock 3 in Akron, check that out on WKYC.com. Okay, I'll see you next up with your trending stories in the Clicking in Cleveland segment on What's New, and I'll see you back here with more 3 News Now tomorrow. Between then and now, everyone stay safe and be well. I'm Stephanie Haney.